Hey there, do you like hockey? Well, I cover every NHL game every night except for Monday nights where we do something different. But tonight there was 13 games, so let's hop right into it. Let's cover each game. It's welcome to Kicking with Kipes. I'm Kipes. I hope you enjoy this video. Our first game is the Boston Bruins taking on the Colorado Avalanche. The Colorado Avalanche's first game without Mikko Rantanen, but they're first with Marty Necas. Necas, in the media, said he probably didn't sleep more than 10 minutes last night due to all the craziness of what was happening, but he didn't really do too much for the Colorado Avalanche today. Rantanen and Taylor Hall didn't do too much for the Carolina Hurricanes either, but everything takes time to get used to. It's brand new teammates. It's less than 24 hours since you've been traded. Nobody expects you to just hop right in and be a superstar on your new team, but yeah, they weren't as productive as some people might have hoped, but it's okay. For the Boston Bruins, Morgan Geekie, he scored twice in this game. David Pastrnak, he also had a goal and an assist. The Bruins, they are now 25, 20, and 8. That is a pretty respectable record compared to what they had when they fired their old coach Jim Montgomery and hired Joe Sacco. But they are starting to maintain that second or third spot in the Atlantic Division because Tampa Bay, they lost tonight. We will cover that in a little bit. But with one team of those two winning and the other losing, it's going to be back and forth, and it's just going to be so exciting to cover. The Boston Bruins, they are on a very good run of games right now. They are 5-1-1 in their past 7 games, so if they continue this, they should have zero trouble making the playoffs, even though as a diehard Leafs fan, it would be very nice not to see them in the playoffs this year. Jeremy Swayman, he was back in the net for the Boston Bruins after missing one game due to an upper body injury. He made 27 saves in the winning effort tonight. This game did end up being 3-1 in favor of the Boston Bruins, but the lone goal for the Colorado Avalanche was Arturi Lehkonen. Scott Wedgwood was between the pipes for the Avalanche. He only made 12 saves in this game, so 15 total shots for the Bruins is absolutely nothing whatsoever, but yeah, you score enough goals to win a game. That doesn't matter how many shots you got on net because the goalie let those in. The Avalanche, they are now 28, 20, and 2. That is still a very respectable record, but they are very close to just be hovering around that wild card spot. The Flames, they won today, and they're right behind the Avalanche, so the Avalanche better be careful. But the Avalanche have actually lost 3 straight games, so they better pick it up or else it might get a little sketchy for the back half of the season. Just some fun facts about the Boston Bruins season and David Pastrnak / Morgan Geekie combination. Pastrnak has assisted on 10 of Morgan Geekie's 15 goals this season. So those two are the dynamic duo carrying the Boston Bruins to success right now. And what a duo. And I'm not complaining about Pastrnak because he's on my fantasy team, so he can keep on doing this for my fantasy points. The Boston Bruins at TD Garden, their home arena, they are 10-1-1 in their past 12 games there, so you will have an extremely hard time coming into that barn and pulling off any sort of points. So it kind of makes sense that the Avalanche struggled tonight knowing that, but holy smokes, I didn't realize Boston was that good on home ice this season. So the Boston Bruins, they win 3-1 against the Colorado Avalanche Saturday afternoon. Our next game is the Edmonton Oilers taking on the Buffalo Sabres, where the Oilers, they hold on to win 3-2. Jeff Skinner scored for the Edmonton Oilers against his former team, the Buffalo Sabres. Stuart Skinner was in net for the Edmonton Oilers. He made 39 saves for the Oilers. They improved to 31, 15, and 3. They're having a very, very good season once again. Holy crap, 39 saves, 41 shots on net in total. That's quick math by Kipes. Okay. But that's just bananas from the Buffalo Sabres. I'm shocked that they didn't get more goals than just 2. Skinner played absolutely amazing. The Oilers, they have also won 6 of the past 8 games, so they are on a very, very good run of games, and they're just solidifying that spot in the Pacific Division. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, he got 2 goals in this game, including the go-ahead goal in the third period. The 2 goal scorers for the Buffalo Sabres was Yuri Kulik and Alex Tuch. The Sabres, they're still pretty pathetic. They are 18, 26, and 5. They have lost 4 of their past 5 games. I think it is time for them to make a managerial change, not head coach, because this is Lindy Ruff's first season for the second time, but I think their GM or owners have to go. Like, something's got to change. I think it should be the GM. Yeah, something's got to change, and it can't be players. They've shipped enough players out. I wonder if they might sell a couple players off, but players that other teams might want will cost a lot, like Dylan Cousins. I feel like Cousins would get a awesome return. I kind of think Calgary should be interested in Dylan Cousins, but let's see if the Flames would even be willing to give up anything at this point. James Reimer, this was his first start in net since January the 4th, almost a month. He made 31 saves in the losing effort. He also was very busy in net today. Oilers forward Leon Draisaitl, the German, he was on a 8-point game streak with 15 points in those 8 games, which is just absolutely absurd. That came to an end today, but it did not come from a lack of trying. He hit the post. He came so close to adding it onto that to make it 9 points, but I'm sure next game, whenever that is, if it's tomorrow, if it's Monday, he's just going to start right over again, and especially with McDavid coming back to the lineup. So the Oilers, they win 3-2 over the Buffalo Sabres on Saturday afternoon. Up next, we got the Seattle Kraken taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins, where the Crackheads, they win 4-1. Joey Daccord, he was in net for the Seattle Kraken today. He is starting to get right back on track. He struggled big time since coming back from injury. Daccord, he lost 4 straight, I think, immediately coming back after his injury. Maybe he won one right after coming back, but he has struggled big time since coming back from injury. But he has now won 5 of his past 7 starts since that little dry spell. Absolutely lights out for the Seattle Kraken. This is just what they need, and a standout goalie, and he was pumped after the game. He got announced as one of the 3 stars. He came on the ice throwing his hands in the air, getting the Kraken fans up on their feet, getting them loud, and I don't think they will be able to make a run and make the playoffs. You never know with how tight both these conferences are right now. So if you win 5 or so in a row right now, that's almost getting you right into the playoffs. The Seattle Kraken, they are now 22, 25, and 3. They have now won 3 of their past 4 games. That is the kind of streak that I was just talking about that will help you get more and more higher on the standings list. They are still 8 points off of the Calgary Flames for that second wildcard spot, so they still have a pretty big hill to climb, but nothing's impossible. The St. Louis Blues won the Cup in 2019 after being in last place at some point in the season, so you cannot count out any team, but according to me, they don't have a chance of making the playoffs. But I would like to be proven wrong. Chandler Stevenson and Jared McCann each had 2 assists for the Seattle Kraken in this game. The Seattle Kraken, they are 12 wins, 0 losses, a perfect record after leading the game heading into the 3rd period. That is an absolutely outstanding record, but that just proves of how bad they are in those first 2 periods if they're going to lose this game. And if they're going to lose the game, they are after the 2 periods, there's no chance they're going to come back. But they are also leading the league in comeback wins this season. So they are a very roller coaster team, but they are also making it an exciting team to follow. Sidney Crosby scored for the Penguins in this game. He had the lone goal for the Penguins. The Penguins, they dropped to 20, 23, and 8, and I think it is almost time that the dam will burst on this team, and Kyle Dubas will just start having that fire sale that is projected to happen. The Penguins, they have lost 3 of their past 4 games. Joel Blomqvist or however the heck you say it, he still lost this game. He made 21 saves. The Penguins did lose a very key part to their lineup today. Evgeny Malkin, he left the game in the first period. He sustained a lower body injury, I think it was that I read, but he collided with Chandler Stevenson, went down. He did try to come back. I think he had one more shift after getting hurt, but just did not play another shift after that point. Mike Sullivan, head coach of the Pittsburgh Penguins, he did not have a status update on Malkin after the game. Here is a little fun fact for you, and I'm going to read it off my notes so I don't screw it up. Sidney Crosby and Chris Letang of the Pittsburgh Penguins, they factored on the same goal, either with a goal or an assist, for the 307th time. They passed Phil Esposito and Bobby Orr. That is insane names to say out loud. They did it 306 times, so now they are second place of all time for a combination of goals and assists. They are the second highest in NHL history, right behind Wayne Gretzky and Paul Coffey for forward defenseman combinations. So Holy crap, these two have been together for so long, and they are so good together when they are on the ice together. It's absolutely amazing. So the Seattle Kraken, they beat the Pittsburgh Penguins 4-1 on Saturday afternoon. We head on over to Montreal, where the Montreal Canadiens are facing off against the New Jersey Devils, where the New Jersey Devils, they win 4-3 in overtime thanks to Jack Hughes. Jack Hughes, he scored 54 seconds into overtime to put the Devils over the top for the victory. Jesper Bratt, he was another standout performer in this game for the Devils. He had a goal and an assist in this game. Jake Allen was between the pipes. He will probably be the number one starter for the Devils for the time being, as Jacob Markstrom is now out for a significant amount of time. The Devils, they are now 28-17-6. They're having a phenomenal season under new head coach Sheldon Keefe, his first season behind the bench. They have now won their second straight game after losing 4 in a row. So they have done exactly what they needed to stay in the playoff picture. They were on a bit of a skid. I was calling for them to start winning games or else it's going to be too late, and they're doing exactly that. For the Montreal Canadiens, Jakub Dobeš, the young phenom goaltender for them, he was on his way to start making history for goaltending in the NHL record books, but he got his first loss of his career. It only took him 6 games to get his first loss. That's absolutely outstanding for a rookie goaltender in this high-scoring league that we now have. It's not like he had an easy night either. He made 40 saves, and the Devils, they were up by 2 goals at some point. So Dobeš, did hold his own after that point, keeping the Canadiens in this game, letting them make the comeback, and unfortunately, they did falter in overtime, so he still has to lose in regulation, which is still an amazing accomplishment. Captain Nick Suzuki of the Montreal Canadiens, he had a goal and 2 assists. He had a phenomenal night. Every time I turned on that game, I noticed him on the puck, dishing it everywhere, taking shots. I could tell that he was having a very good game. Cole Caulfield, or should we say Goal Caulfield, he had a goal and an assist in this game, continuing his phenomenal season, wearing that number 13 in honor of Johnny Gaudreau. The Habs, they are now 24-20-5. They are still not in that second wildcard spot anymore, but they are right there. They just need to string a couple wins together and they'll be right back in it. And this is what's going to be the pattern for the next several weeks. There's going to be teams in and out of the playoffs constantly. I'm going to have to keep updating everything. Yeah, they're in the playoffs tonight. Nope, they're not anymore. But it's going to be fun to watch, and it's good to have this competition because that makes the games that much more interesting and viewable every night. Captain of the New Jersey Devils, he did not come back after leaving the game with an undisclosed injury early in the third period. So hopefully he's okay. He is a vital part to that Devils forward group. So the New Jersey Devils, they win 4-3 in overtime against the Montreal Canadiens. We head on over to the nation's capital of Canada, Ottawa, Ontario, where the Toronto Maple Leafs are in town, and the Ottawa Senators, they send their fans home happy, and as they win 2-1. Shane Pinto, he got the game-winning goal halfway through the third period. Tim Stützle, the German forward for the Ottawa Senators, he also scored in this game. Anton Forsberg was in net for the Ottawa Senators, and when I saw that, that is when I picked the Leafs to win this game, and that bit me right in the butt. The Senators, they were very impressive tonight, just holding the Leafs out to the sides. They didn't let many high-scoring chances happen. The Sens, they are now 25-20-4. They are also, like the Montreal Canadiens, just out of the playoff picture in the wild card spots. But with another win tomorrow night, I think that would put them in the playoff spot. And man, oh man, these Senators, they have had a tough January. They got shut out in 2 consecutive games heading into this game, and I should have known that a team that was struggling this bad in the Senators were just gonna beat the Leafs. It happens every time that a struggling team plays the Leafs. I should have actually put money on it, to be honest, because that's how frequently it happens against the Leafs. Bobby McMann, the forward for the Maple Leafs, he was the lone goal scorer in the first period for the Maple Leafs. Joseph Woll, between the pipes for the Leafs, he made 22 saves in the losing effort. The Leafs, they are now 30-18-2. They have now lost 2 games in a row, so they better pick it up. Or I know a lot of people are saying this is a different Leafs team than what we've seen. They are able to hold that spot in the Atlantic Division, that first spot. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, there is still something not right about this team. Yes, they are playing good hockey. You cannot take that away from them. I bleed blue till the day I die. But at the same point, it's like, this feels like the same thing is happening where they're going to impress us during the season. They're going to slip a little bit. And then in the playoffs, they're just going to disappoint us once again. Yes, there are a lot of injuries, but every team has injuries, and that is no excuse. Jacob Quillen for the Maple Leafs. He made his NHL debut tonight. He did not get on the score sheet, unfortunately, but he did have a scary moment in the first period where he collided with forward of the Ottawa Senators, Nick Cousins. Nick Cousins, he went down screaming in pain, could hardly put pressure on his leg heading off the ice. He needed a doctor and a teammate to help him off the ice. Luckily, Quillen, he was able to skate it off for a little bit, and he still played the rest of the game. Let's just hope Cousins is okay, because that looked extremely painful. So the Senators, they break their being shut out streak, and they beat the Maple Leafs 2-1 on home ice on Saturday night. We cross the border into Detroit, Michigan, where the Red Wings are hosting the Tampa Bay Lightning, and the Detroit Red Wings, they beat the Tampa Bay Lightning 2-0. Cam Talbot was in net. He got the shutout for the Detroit Red Wings. He made 28 saves in the win. This was his 33rd career NHL shutout. Very good career that he is having. The Wings, they are now 4 points off the Columbus Blue Jackets for that second wildcard position. They are still right in the hunt. This Eastern Conference is a ton of fun to keep. I keep saying this, but it's so much fun to keep an eye on. Every day it changes, so you got to keep your eye on it big time. This is actually the first time in a long time, since 2023, November 2023 to be exact, that the Tampa Bay Lightning have been shut out. So for some reason, they just keep scoring every single game, and it's incredible actually to be over a year apart from being shut out for the most recent time. I don't know what I'm saying right now, but the Lightning, they lost 5-0 in that game in 2023, and they have been scoring every game literally since that point. The two goal scorers for the Detroit Red Wings was Marco Kasper and Michael Samuelsson. They are now 23, 21, and 5. They're starting to creep back into the playoffs. They have won 2 in a row now after a 3-game losing streak, which is exactly what they needed to do. Like the Devils, everything is starting to come back for a couple teams. This was Talbot's second shutout of the season, so he is helping Detroit in almost every way that he can if he's healthy. This was the back end of a back-to-back for the Tampa Bay Lightnings. Vasilevsky was in net for this game. He made 29 saves. He was very busy. The Lightning, they are now 26, 19, and 3. It was extremely close to not being a shutout for Cam Talbot. It was a bit of a scramble in front of the net. Anthony Cirelli and Victor Hedman creating chaos. Hedman had a wide open net before Talbot stuck out the pad, and Michael Rasmussen just turned right around and put it into the empty net with about 30 seconds-ish left in the game. So the Detroit Red Wings, they get a shutout. They shut out the Tampa Bay Lightning 2-0. We move from Detroit a little bit past the border into Ohio, where the Blue Jackets are hosting the LA Kings, and the Blue Jackets, they win 3-2 in overtime thanks to Kirill Marchenko. The game almost didn't even go into overtime. The Kings, they scored late thanks to Quinton Byfield. They scored with about a minute and 5 seconds, I think it was, left in the third period with the goalie pulled. Kemper was out of the net for the extra attacker, and Byfield tied the game super late. Elvis Merzlikins was in net for the Columbus Blue Jackets. He made 31 saves. He was very busy in the winning effort and stood tall in the entire night. Philip Deneau was the star player for the LA Kings today. He had a goal and an assist. Darcy Kemper, like we just mentioned, he was in net. He made 21 saves for the Kings. They are now 26, 14, and 6. They have lost 5 of 7. They need to desperately kick it back into gear, or else it will be too little too late. The Kings, they do have a 3-point buffer over the Calgary Flames with a game in hand, so they are a little safe for now. But if they keep this streak up and the Flames win again tomorrow night, it's going to be even closer. And right now, you have no breathing room in either conference. I feel like I'm saying this all the time, but both conferences are so close. Zach Werenski, he extended his home point streak to 19 games. That's absolutely incredible. We'll talk about that very soon. Dante Fabro, he also scored in this game for the Blue Jackets. The Blue Jackets, they maintain that second wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference. They are now 24, 19, and 7. They had lost 3 of 4 heading into this game, so they were struggling. I did pick the Kings to win this game, which, man, oh man, Kipes has got to get it together. But the Blue Jackets, they are also a very good team. Nobody expected the Blue Jackets to even be remotely this good coming off of the passing of the late Johnny Gaudreau. Everybody expected them to have quite a bit of struggles in this season, but they have ridden those emotions and have been extremely impressive and very fun to watch. Back to Zach Werenski. He has a 19-point home point streak. He has now tied John Van Boxmeer. Never heard of that guy, but I feel like I should have. He has the 5th longest streak in NHL history by a defenseman. That is absolutely insanity. We are watching NHL history being made right now with several players, but Werenski has 36 points during that 19-point home streak. That is bananas. And I am not looking forward to the Canadiens having to face this guy in a couple weeks in the Four Nations face-off. He is by far the Norris Trophy candidate right now that I would be picking. So the Blue Jackets, they beat the LA Kings 3-2 in overtime on Saturday night. We have another 2-0 game to report in the NHL tonight. The Dallas Stars, they beat the St. Louis Blues 2-0. Casey DeSmith getting the shutout with 33 saves in the winning effort. Evgeny Dadonov and Esa Lindell were the 2 goal scorers for the Dallas Stars today. Dadonov, he added an assist to his tally. The Stars, they are now 31, 17, and 1. They have won 3 of 4 games, so they are on a nice little stretch of games, including a 4-3 win over the Vegas Golden Knights on Friday night. So 2 very impressive performances back-to-back for the Dallas Stars. This was Esa Lindell's first power play goal since October 19th, 2019, an extremely long time coming for the defenseman. So it must feel extremely good to get that goal, that power play goal on the board. Jordan Binnington was in net for the St. Louis Blues. This is kind of scary because the Canadian goaltenders are extremely meh for the Four Nations face-off, and I have no idea what's going to happen. I feel like Zach Werenski could beat every Canadian goaltender right now on his own, so we'll see what happens. Binnington, he made 17 saves in the losing effort. He wasn't even busy tonight, so maybe it was hard for him to check into the game, but no excuses, man. The Blues, they are now 23, 23, and 4. Very mediocre, very mid, literally mid. They have more losses as a whole than wins, so they better get it going. They have lost 3 of 4 and were shut out for the first time this season, so just a bad night altogether for the St. Louis Blues. So the Dallas Stars, they beat the St. Louis Blues 2-0 Saturday night. Our next game is my hometown team, the Calgary Flames, playing the Minnesota Wild in Minnesota, where the Calgary Flames, they almost blow it, but they end up winning 5-4. Andrei Kuzmenko and Martin Pospisil, the Popsicle, they both had very good games. They were the stand-up players for the Flames. Kuzmenko, he had 2 goals. Pospisil, he had a goal and an assist. This goal was desperately needed by Martin Pospisil. He hadn't scored in 25 games, so that must feel like a weight off his shoulders. You could tell when he scored that he just looked to the heavens and said thank you. The Wild, they did score 3 goals in the third period to try to get the comeback, but it just was way too little too late. They scored with like 30 seconds or something left and just weren't able to get the puck back into the zone and maintain possession. Freddie Gaudreau, he cut the deficit to 4-2 with a power play goal, but then here comes Andrei Kuzmenko. He had a very nice wraparound goal. The play was still being announced in the arena by the loudspeaker, but as Kuzmenko scored, but it was very well done by Kuzmenko, who desperately needed this game. Matt Zuccarello, he was the goal scorer that made it 5-4 with 27 seconds remaining. So the place went ballistic thinking that they could still do it, but that's very little time to get the puck off the face-off into the zone, get a goal, but it's not impossible. So the Flames, I wouldn't say they're lucky because they played very good all game, but they did cut it pretty close. Rasmus Andersson, he scored in this game. He did the stare down of a fan who absolutely loved it. He was killing himself laughing with his wife, girlfriend, whatever it was. I love that celebration. He just skates straight to the glass and stares at an opposition jersey. Just classic. Clark Bishop, in his second game since being called up from the Calgary Wranglers. I'll be at the Wranglers game tomorrow watching them play the Gulls. So if you're going to be at the Wranglers game, let me know and we can maybe meet up. But the Flames, they are now 24, 16, and 7. They have a better win percentage than the Colorado Avalanche. Who thought that 40 plus games into the season that this would be the case? Holy crap, is Calgary surprising everyone. The Flames, they have now won 3 straight and 6 of their past 8 games. This is exactly what they need to do to maintain that playoff position, and I just hope and pray that they can do it, because how much fun would it be to go and get some footage from the Red Mile, or even try to get a playoff ticket, which I will never be able to afford. How much fun would that be to be able to be in a city that hosts playoff hockey? Dustin Wolf was the goalie for the Calgary Flames in this game. He gets another win, adding to my hopes of a Calder trophy. I think that if he maintains at least this for the rest of the season, that he should win that trophy. It's very rare that a goalie can win that trophy because of how electric some rookie forwards can be. I'm going to read this stat off for you just so I can't mess it up. Dustin Wolf, 27 starts this season so far. He is 18, 7, and 2 with a 2.54 goals against average, a 916 save percentage. That's good in its own, let alone what he does on 5-on-5. He has a 941 save percentage on 5-on-5. So when it is even strength, he is so lights out that hardly anyone can score against him. The Minnesota Wild, they are now 28, 17, and 4. That they're still having a very good season, but they are struggling as of late. They have lost 2 in a row and 5 of their past 6 games. So now that Kaprizov's back, you hope that he gets back into stride extremely quick so they can maintain that playoff spot. Marc-Andre Fleury, the veteran that's retiring at the end of this season, he made 24 saves. Marco Rossi of the Minnesota Wild, he had a very, very good game. He had 3 assists. Joel Eriksson Ek, he also scored for the Minnesota Wild. The first period, if you looked at the shots that were had, it was very boring. Each team did score, but each team only had 5 shots on net. That is insanely low shot attempts. Everything was in the neutral zone, behind the net. Very tough play. Scary news for the Calgary Flames, though. Defenseman Kevin Ball, he went very awkwardly into the boards, looked very shaken up. He did not come back to the game. I was shocked that it was not a cross-checking from behind or a boarding 5-minute major penalty. He went directly into the numbers, into the back of Kevin Ball. Maybe they thought that Kevin Ball stopped and turned a little bit to make that play a bit more awkward for the Minnesota Wild player, but I really hope Ball's okay. He's having a pretty solid season in his first season as a Calgary Flame. So the Calgary Flames, they win 5-4 over the Minnesota Wild Saturday night. Our 10th game of the night was the New York Islanders taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. Carolina Hurricanes, they added Mikko Rantanen and Taylor Hall to their lineup tonight. Less than 24 hours since that big trade last night. If you haven't seen my trade recap video, go check it out. It's on all the platforms. But the New York Islanders, they win this game. Brock Nelson was the goal scorer in overtime. He beat Peter Kochetkov on a 2-on-1 rush. Very nice play. Brock Nelson is the rumor boy for trades, Colorado being that number 1 spot now that they traded away Rantanen. Alexander Romanov, the defenseman for the New York Islanders, and Anders Lee were the other goal scorers for the New York Islanders today. They improved to 21, 20, and 7. They have won 4 in a row, but I still don't think that they will make the playoffs. It would surprise me very much if they made the playoffs. Marcus Hogberg started the game in net. He made 24 saves up until overtime, and then Ilya Sorokin had to come in for overtime as Hogberg picked up an injury. That is wild. I have not seen, maybe ever, a goalie having to come in cold for 3-on-3 overtime. That is absolutely bananas. I'd love to know if that has happened, let alone that goalie even winning. I could only assume what was going through Sorokin's head. The Islanders, they also added a player that made his debut in this game, Tony DeAngelo. Former Sarnia Sting, former Carolina Hurricane, actually. He was in the KHL in Russia the past couple months, and he was lighting it up, but then he terminated his contract in that league and signed a 1-year contract with the New York Islanders. He made his debut. He got an assist in this game. Jack Roslovic and Sebastian Aho were the 2 goal scorers for the Carolina Hurricanes today. They decline to 30, 16, and 4 after having a 4-game win streak. Peter Kochetkov, he made 24 saves in the losing effort today. Mikko Rantanen, in his debut, he came this close to getting a goal in his debut. He hit the post halfway through the second period. Islanders, they lose a very important part to their defensive core, Ryan Pulock. He left 15 seconds into his first shift of the game after getting tangled up with rookie Jackson Blake of the Carolina Hurricanes behind the net. Hopefully Pulock can come back soon because he is a very important part to that blue line. So the Islanders, they win in overtime 3-2 over the Carolina Hurricanes. Moving on, we have the Vancouver Canucks taking on the Washington Capitals. I said the Capitals were going to win this game, and I was wrong. The Canucks, they win 2-1. All in thanks to their captain, Quinn Hughes. Quinn Hughes, he scored both goals for the Vancouver Canucks tonight. The captain leading by example. The Canucks, they end the Washington Capitals 6-game win streak with a 2-1 victory. What a great performance from the Canucks. They desperately needed a win like this against a team like this. Kevin Lankinen, he was in net for the Vancouver Canucks tonight. He made 32 saves. He was a busy boy. Philip Hronek, he had 2 assists leading from the blue line as well. The Canucks are now 21, 17, and 10. They end a 2-game losing streak with this win. This is only the Canucks' 3rd win in the past 11 games. They are 3, 6, and 2 in that span. That is pathetic from Rick Tocchet and his Canucks team. And Rick Tocchet, after the last game where they lost, he said, righting the ship falls on me. This is my job to fix this problem. And I sure hope you're right, Rick Tocchet, because the Canucks desperately need more wins. The lone goal scorer for the Washington Capitals today was Pierre-Luc Dubois in the 3rd period. Charlie Lindgren was between the pipes for the Washington Capitals. He made 23 saves. The Capitals, they're still stupid good. They are 33, 11, and 5. That is ridiculous how good they are having, how good of a season they are having. This is the Washington Capitals' first regulation loss in the year 2025. We are almost in February. The Capitals, they are still in first place in the league so far. They are 2 points ahead of the Winnipeg Jets with a game in hand. So I would really like to see an Eastern Conference team win the President's Trophy. This also ended the Capitals' 12-game point streak. They were 9-0-3 in that span since their last regulation loss on December 29th. Just what a stupid good run. That is absolutely absurd how good this team has been this year. And what a surprise from Spencer Carberry and their team. They squeaked into the playoffs and got spanked in the playoffs. Everybody expected it to happen, but nobody expected them to bounce back like this. I feel like I'm talking a lot about the Washington Capitals in this video with a Vancouver win, but nothing else really happened for the Canucks besides the fact that Quinn Hughes scored both goals. So the Canucks, they win 2-1 over the red hot, very good Washington Capitals. Up next, we got the Anaheim Ducks taking on the Nashville Predators. I picked the Nashville Predators, so you would assume that I was wrong, and you would be correct. The Ducks, they win 5-2 over the Nashville Predators thanks to Mason McTavish. He scored twice in this game. McTavish has 5 goals in the past 3 games. He is on a very good run of games. Trevor Zegras, he's back in the lineup. I forgot to mention that a couple days ago. Him and Jansen Harkins each had a goal and an assist in this game. Brett Leeson, the defenseman, I think it is, he had 2 assists in this game as well. The Ducks, they improved to 20, 23, and 6. They're not great whatsoever, but they are 19-0-2 when scoring 3 goals this season. So that just means to me that they are having a goal scoring issue, because the fact that they haven't scored more than 3 goals in many games just speaks to how much more they need goal scoring. Because if they score more than 3, they're almost perfect. They have 2 overtime or shootout losses, and that's it if they score more than 3 goals. So come on, maybe acquire a goal scorer or maybe draft a goal scorer in the upcoming draft. John Gibson, he started this game in net. He made 9 saves until he had to come out. Lucas Dostal, he had to come in. Dostal, he was very busy in net when he came in. Ice cold. He made 31 saves for the Ducks in the win, ending a 4-game losing streak. The Ducks, they ended their 4-game losing streak on Thursday night against the Pittsburgh Penguins, so this is back-to-back wins for the Duckies. For the Nashville Predators, I said they were going to win because they were doing very good as of late, but they falter once again. They continue to be disappointing. Gustav Nyquist, he scored in this game, as well as Ryan O'Reilly. Trade target for many teams, which is surprising because he is pretty new to Nashville. Philip Forsberg, he had a good game as well. He had 2 assists. UC Saros, the big man in net for the Nashville Predators, he made 30 saves in the loss. The Nashville Predators, they are now 18, 23, and 7. They had won 5 in a row heading into this game, but they ran into the Ducks, and who would have thought the Ducks would have ended this run for the Predators? So the Ducks, they win 5-2 over the Nashville Predators. Our last game of the evening is the Florida Panthers taking on the San Jose Sharks in San Jose tonight, where on the eve of the conference championships of the NFL, the Florida Panthers, they score a touchdown. Lots of players for the Florida Panthers had good games. Let's go through them. Aaron Ekblad, he came back from an injury. He had a goal and an assist in his return. Matthew Tkachuk, he had a goal and 2 assists for the Florida Panthers during this rout of the Sharks. Aaron Ekblad, he had missed the previous 7 games due to an upper body injury and came back and proved that this might be what the Panthers were missing on the blue line. AJ Greer, former Calgary Flame last year, he also had a goal and an assist. Nate Schmidt, Sam Bennett, Reinhart, and Adam Boqvist all were the other goal scorers for the Florida Panthers. Just absurd. 7 separate goal scorers in this game. Complete front-to-back team performance for the Kitty Cats. The Bob father, Sergei Bobrovsky, he was in net for the Florida Panthers tonight. He made 22 saves in the winning effort. Cody Ceci, remember that name? I haven't heard that name for a long time. He got sent to the Sharks in the offseason from the Edmonton Oilers, so he got a goal in this game. You rarely hear that. Will Smith, the rookie forward for the Sharks, he was the other goal scorer for the Sharks. They diminish to a measly pathetic, continue to be pathetic, 14, 32, and 6. That is so bad. They have lost 6 straight and 9 of 10. I am not going out on a limb and saying they're probably going to get the first overall lottery pick once again. They have Macklin Celebrini. They got Will Smith last year. Holy smokes, they might be extremely good in a couple years. Alexander Georgiev, he started the game in net, but he let 4 goals in on 15 shots. That is I keep saying pathetic. I got to get a new word. That is just so bad from a goaltender in the NHL. He got pulled. Yaroslav Askarov, he had to come in net. He made 13 of 16 saves. He's still letting 3 goals, but it wasn't his game. He wasn't mentally checked in, so I'll give him the slide on this one. The craziest part about this game, it ended 7-2, and the San Jose Sharks had a 2-1 lead. That is embarrassing for the Sharks. Ceci, he tied the game 1-1, and then 30-something seconds later, Will Smith put the puck behind the goaltender for the 2-1 lead. And then the Panthers scored 6 consecutive goals, just embarrassing the Sharks on home ice. So the Florida Panthers, they score a touchdown and win 7-2 over the embarrassing San Jose Sharks. All right, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for being here. It means the absolute world to me. Thank you for all my new followers on every platform. It just means the world to me that people even want to listen to my stupid voice and watch my videos or whatever, however you're consuming this content. Thank you so much. I can't put into words how much it means to me. We will be back tomorrow night. I think there's 4 or 5 games on the schedule. We will be recapping those. See you then. I'll be posting my predictions, even though I'm terrible at them. I obviously don't know what I'm talking about. I can't predict jack crap. So good thing I'm not a betting man. My wife would kill me by this point. So thank you again for watching this video. We will see you tomorrow night. Have an amazing rest of your day.